When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
All right. Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and we are back with another fantastic guest on today's show. You know, I have the pleasure of bringing you some of the most amazing people from around the globe, and we have another person visiting us from out of the country, United States today, coming in from Australia. Super excited to have her visiting us. We're going to be talking all about creating your unique digital footprint and how you do that. And our guest, Toni Lontis, is going to join us in that conversation of the best way for you to do that for yourself. So you can walk away today with having that information and those gold nuggets for you to start applying that, because she has so many years of experience, and I'll get into that in just a second. Until we get to our guest, I would love to thank our sponsor of today's show, Phoenix Drone Pros. At Phoenix Drone Pros, we love what we do and are passionate about each and every drone photography and video shoot. We've been in business since 2017. Our talent and skills shows in the video production we deliver. We offer fast service for commercial real estate, movies, events, and construction site monitoring. We also provide drone virtual tours that are all the rage right now. These virtual tours are great for team building and entertainment. Contact us today at phoenixdronepros.com to schedule your shoot online or get information. We capture everything. So thank you so much for Phoenix Drone Pros for capturing everything and being the sponsor of today's show. Well, like I promised you, let's not wait no more. Toni Lontis, an online communication catalyst and global broadcaster, international radio and TV host, best-selling author, speaker, and visionary, Toni Lontis quietly entered the entrepreneurial world in 2019, post-publication of her memoir, Resilience, Discovering a Woman of Strength and Beauty. After 35 years in nursing, from clinical practice to running her own nurse consultancy company, Toni wanted to write a book about what it takes to heal from the dysfunction and trauma in her to create a heart-centered impact and help heal others. So from these humble beginnings, it grew a love of interviewing businesses, people about life, business, and the universe. Her intuitive interview style has taken the world by storm. She now has multiple live streaming, TV, radio shows, and produces a series of co-hosted business shows on different platforms based in the U.S. and broadcasting in the world. And she just launched her own TV network, Everyday Women's Network. Toni, welcome to the show.
Oh, Colleen, thank you so much. You're so delighted to be here.
I could have gone on, girlfriend, about how wonderful you are. And I think, you know, like your bio mentions, we come from these humble beginnings and we have traumas and incidences that happen to us in our lives that really mold us to use our voice, to speak up, to, like you said, to heal others. And now you're taking those guests and you're putting them on the show where they have the opportunity to speak up if maybe they're not going to write a book about the traumas they've been through and what their lives have been like. I've been thankful to be able to be a guest on your show and your Everyday Women's Network, and just want to thank you for that. But I first would like to ask you, you know, when you came out of nursing, I doubt the first thing you thought was, I'm going to be I'm going to be a radio person now. I'm going to interview individuals on TV, and I'm going to run a network, right?
No, that was not what I thought. And I thought I was going to write this amazing book and be a global sensation and #1 bestseller and go and talk across the world. Naively thought, I might add. I actually was ill prepared for the journey that life and the universe has taken me on, but I'm incredibly grateful for that journey at the same time. So I stopped my consultancy so that I could write the book, and I sat down and wrote it because I felt driven and that it was important. And my belief is that secrets, they cease to hold, trauma and secrets cease to hold us or control us once we speak about them, once we write about them, once we talk about them. And so that was part of the premise behind the writing the book. But what's come out of the book has been so much bigger than I could ever envisioned myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was really the beginning step, the baby step of your
Correct.
Kind of digital footprint that you've been creating for yourself. And if we
Correct.
if we were to look way back, what footprints were talked about and utilized back in the day, many, many, many years ago, might have been, an in-person visit, a marketing collateral, leaving, brochures on counters and business cards and
on-site events,
and those
launches, and
And so now we're talking about digital footprints, and we know that today's world is so full of social media, and you can look anything up, anything
Correct.
you want to know. The other day I was connecting my vehicle to my garage so it could open up my garage because I had gotten a new vehicle, and I must have watched 4 YouTube videos before I got it to work. There's always something out there that will assist you in how to, right? So knowing that makes it much easier for someone who has a business to be able to be seen, to be able to be found.
Correct.
Because you're in Australia, I'm in Arizona, and we found each other.
Absolutely.
And I don't think we would have been at the same in-person event for a while. Possibly.
No.
I mean, I've been at a lot of in-person events with people from out of the country, but I will say that maybe we never would have crossed paths if we both didn't utilize our digital efforts to be able to do that, right? So talk to me more about why that's so important and how you really work with individuals today, big thinkers, global influencers. I know you work with a lot of visionaries, and they have this vision like you did. I'm going to be this sensation, this, author, and I'm going to sell my books and speak all over the world. How do they make, expand that influence? And talk a lot about that here on this podcast.
So the thing is that unless you've got a global recognized name, you have to build that yourself. So I'm talking about Oprah. So everyone knows who Oprah is, what she does. That's all very clear. But for the rest of us, that's something we need to build. And when we talk about having a global digital footprint, that's about having access to you and what you do across multiple platforms. So that might be your socials. And if you're in business, LinkedIn is number one. And then pick, maybe 2 or 3 others, and that's your social media part of your global footprint. And there's different strategies for each of those, and you need to build those. You need to grow them like you grow a circle of friends, but these are your tribe, your people, the people that are going to support you, they're going to listen to you, they're going to buy from you. So that's a social media component. But then there's a whole realm of others. So when we talk about a global digital footprint, that means that if someone Googles your name, they'll find you on socials, they'll find you on your website, they'll find you through newsletters, blogs, online magazines, they'll find you on alternate forms of internet TV, they'll find you on podcasts, etc., etc., etc. So oftentimes people don't realize that the average person needs to see a bite of you, a little bit of you, something like 30 times before they'll actually be engaged in what you do and say. So if you've got a business, we want to be part of that process. And the way that we help with that is, for instance, in our co-hosted show series, we get together with the business owner and we strategize around a series of shows that highlights them, their business, and the uniqueness about them, because each human being is unique. So if you're in business, you're the unique part of that business, because you might be a coach, and there are lots and lots of amazing coaches, but there's only one coach who's going to speak things the way that you do, Colleen, or is going to come with the unique wisdom that you have.
Right.
So it's about making sure that uniqueness of you, your brand, and your business is spread across multiple digital platforms. So those wonderful little bots in Google pick up and go, oh, Colleen's done a show with Toni. Colleen's written an article in this magazine. Colleen's here on LinkedIn. Colleen's here on, and it gives you or gives the person who's searching for you or searching for an answer to what it is that they're struggling with. And as a coach, if just using coaching as an example, if you're a coach, you want that person who's searching for an answer to their particular issue. You're the coach that supplies the answer to that issue. You want to be in that and have a big enough global footprint that people can find you.
Yeah.
That's as simple as it is.
And it's possible to build that. I mean, I did, when I came out of corporate America, I remember
I was just going to say,
someone once said, look up your name and Google yourself. I was like, I've never Googled myself. What am I going to find? I was a little scared. And I Googled myself and there was like an image of me, and LinkedIn came up because I was in the corporate world. I played in LinkedIn. LinkedIn has like just awesome, algorithms. And, but that was really it. There were these other Colleen Biggs that came up and I was like, wow, I didn't know there were any other Colleen Biggs out there.
Yeah.
If anyone, and I'm going to ask every listener, go Google me. Right?
No, go
anyone
Google.
That Googles
go Google Colleen.
Go Google me. Go Google Toni Lontis. Go Google her as well. I'm like the first 6 pages of Google. There's no other Colleen that shows up. There's one ad that I saw someone run for a coaching ad that pops up. Other than that, it's exactly what you said. It's not just building
what
it
you
yourself.
Want to build.
Yes. You want to be on other people's podcasts. You want to be on other people's magazines and articles. I co-produced a magazine for years, but when I was in other people's magazines, they did a lot of marketing for their own magazines. So of course that really pumped up my name.
It does. People
online.
Don't understand the importance of being in other people's magazines, being on other people's podcasts, being on other people's shows, because the collaborative effort. And so when Colleen and I've worked together, so Colleen's just done my show and now I'm doing her show, that combined collaboration between the two of us exponentially gives credence to both of us. So this oftentimes, it's not about being solo. It's actually about working with other people as often as you can. And the bigger profile they have will expand yours. And that's essentially what we do.
Yeah. Why did you start the Everyday Women's Network? What was really your why behind that?
So back when I wrote the book and got into it was online radio back then, and it was only audio, and I'd asked a question about podcasting because I'm like, what is this podcasting everyone's talking about? And the CEO of the media company in Florida said to me, why would you podcast when you can live stream and get a podcast as well? I'm like, I don't understand how that works. But that started my journey. I spent like the first 6 months being like petrified of being behind the microphone, and I wasn't even on video back then. But during that space of the first 6 months of being on live radio, I started to get a vision about women's voices and women's perceptions. And the vision for me is about, and not disparaging men, but understanding that we don't often have equal play in media. If you're a woman of a certain age, you won't find many women over a certain age on traditional media, leading shows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought that that was wrong, because I actually believe that women get better, wiser, and more wonderful as they age.
We age like fine wine, girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my vision behind Everyday Women's Network is about that global platform. So Everyday Women's Network is just like Netflix, but it's female-centric content generated by wonderful women across the world and the men that support them. So Everyday Women's Network, I wanted to be a platform where women are inspired, empowered, educated, and helped. And it's a central platform where women can go and know that their ideas and thoughts will be supported by someone on that network, and to link women to other wonderful men and women across the globe. So that's the vision that sits behind Everyday Women's Network. And we have a special code that we're going to give you or attach to this show so that you can jump on and check out Everyday Women's Network. And it's a good one, but we'll tell you about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really excited about that. So thank you for sharing that with us, and the why. I believe we all have a mission and a why behind why we do what we do. And, you know, why I started the LEAP community and brought women in to build a business, to get the exposure that they deserve and the visibility, was really one about just having them feel confident enough to be in an interview, to speak up and use their voices and share, you know, about themselves. And the more that women step forward and step into those leadership positions, I do believe eventually the more equality we will see. Women really need to start by stepping up into those leadership positions, but it starts, you know, from within. And when they have a tribe of women around them that they feel more comfortable with, supported by, feel confident around, they're like a flower, right? They just
absolutely, Colleen,
bloom more. And I know all of us are doing this. Really, many of us, you, me, several women included. But
it needs many more. And a part of that vision involves I had to get over my fear. So I started the premise was that if I show up, if I'm game enough to show up as my imperfect self, and I am completely imperfectly perfect, but if I do that, it gives other women the permission or the idea that they could do it too, because I'm not a young woman anymore. And so I thought that if I can reach the women of my age and older and say, you can do this too, and give the younger women a vision of what they might see in the future, then that was what lit me up. That was what championing other women and what they do, it lights me up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I'm so impressed with even the girls in my family, you know, my daughters. I'm so impressed with the age of their friends and how they're out there building these businesses online, on Instagram. And they just believe that anything is possible. And
which is wonderful.
Yeah. They're not going to go somewhere and get a 9-to-5. They're going to they're going to earn and draw this income through what they need to do constantly to get followers, while they get to take care of their kids, send them to school, pick them up from school. So essentially they get to be a stay-at-home mom, but still have run a business, a very successful business from home. Yes. And I've seen all my daughters do that. And I look at that and I look back at my life and how I was like tied to this corporate job and how it ran everything for me. I couldn't even leave certain times, you know, to go get my children when they were sick as a nurse. And I look at that and I'm just I'm so proud of all of these girls and these young women that I see.
Definitely.
and how they're out there building the dream of what they want for a business, and they're not afraid. And I love that. The more and more that I see that. So it takes all of us being examples, no matter what. Right.
And Colleen, that journey to equality for women. And again, I have to quantify this. I'm not disparaging men, but as women, we know there's no equal playing field out there, not yet. And I know and I believe that women have the power to change the world. Yeah. With women in leadership roles, there would be no wars. With women in leadership roles, some of the biggest, ugliest things that we battle with as a world would be solved. So if Colleen and I help create wonderful women, we will change humanity. We will change things like climate change. We will change things like women and domestic violence. We will change things like child trafficking, because women have that capacity within ourselves and our souls to do that work. We just need those perceptions about what women believe is powerful to be in front of everyone. And we need to create abundant women, because women do amazing things with money that occur to others. So the more abundant women we have, the more wonderful women leaders we create, the better the world gets. That's my belief.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. And I want to go back to something that you touched on earlier about, you said, you kept saying about showing up, in all these different areas.
Yes.
The key to that piece is no one is really looking for you to be something that you think you need to become. The world is only looking for you. And all of your growth and wisdom and all of the areas that you lack in, and the areas maybe you're not funny in, or that you are funny in, or the little quirks of your personality. I have taught this to my clients. Yeah. Time and time again. You are what people want to see, not whatever show you can put on. So I show up a lot very raw in everything I do, because I do believe that that's what the world is looking for. And it's kind of liberating and freeing to me to just be me. And so I don't ever have to apologize for that. It's like, well, this is me. So that's how I'm going to show up. The more that we do that, just the weight's lifted off, because you don't have the weight of trying to be like someone else. I guess I'll just go ahead and debunk that secret that's out there. Everyone's taken, y'all. No one's left. You just got to be yourself.
You got to be yourself.
Be anybody else. Yeah, right. So I think that's a part of the secret, Toni, is just showing up as who we are, no matter what that looks like day to day. And there's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. I've spent some time crying before on video and got an outpouring of support from others when I had a bad day. And it was a day that I needed someone to loan me their wings. If you remember what that feels like, there's days where we're not always top of the line, full of energy, and it's all there. It really starts with how much you work on yourself and want it. And I want to be strong and feel abundant and unstoppable.
But you're not going to be like that every single day. You just that's not life.
Right.
Life throws you curveballs all the time. So, in the last week, I've had a seriously ill mother with whom I have quite a fractured relationship. I've got a traumatized adult daughter who is walking through some really tough stuff. I've got a special needs grandson, and we're in the midst of selling our property, and we're not sure if that contract's so that's the stuff. That's the stuff that affects lots and lots and lots and lots of people. So the person that you see often is carrying a whole boatload of stuff behind them, but they're still showing up because they believe in you who's watching or listening, or like Colleen, who has a wonderful, amazing group of women. They follow Colleen because Colleen shows up and goes, wow, today's pretty god awful, but here I am.
Yeah. I mean, there's days like that. And I've even had women say that they've had hard days and felt like they couldn't get out of bed, but they opened up their phone and then there was an email from the community and there's their pictures, plastered on the front of the newsletter as a member spotlight. And then they were just like, I can do this. I can get out of bed, and just those little times of showing another person that you care. And that's, one of the reasons why I do this is because this is information that we can share to someone right now that's trying to figure out how do I create this digital footprint? And they're trying to figure out how they're going to create content. And I'll tell you this, people are drowning in content.
People are drowning in content.
Are starving for connection. So
Yes.
just get out there and connect.
I was just going to say,
social media, do a video.
The connection is important.
Talk to them, engage with them back and forth. People want to connect. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be validated. And by bringing guests on this show, I get to give them all of that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's about, sharing their thoughts because everyone has something special that they've been through, that they know. And for women, they often think that they don't know. There's so much wisdom. And I'm with Colleen. I love aging. I'm starting to actually feel like I'm getting to the wise part of my life, recognizing that there was always stuff to learn. But I love that growing into an older, wise woman. I think it's amazing.
It is. And I think in 2023, there's so much clutter and content. We do need to slow down and connect more with, a woman on your everyday women's network that has a show that just talks to your heart, right? And you learn from her and connect.
I was just going to say, Colleen, that's the vision behind Everyday Women's Network. So we have amazing studio produced content, but conversely, we have really authentic women talking about real issues and real life, and they're authors and they're spiritual healers and they're everyday women. And that's what sits behind the network. I want you to see the everyday women. I want you to see women showing up as their authentic selves and answering your questions, giving you thoughts, sharing their wisdom. That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
How do we connect with you for the Everyday Women's Network? Tell us how an individual listening.
In the top right-hand corner of my screen, you will see a website. So it's EWNTV.online. So Everyday Women's Network TV.online. Now, for Colleen's listeners, if you jump onto that, it's a platform and it takes you to the platform. And if you want to subscribe for Colleen's listeners only, if you use EWN VIP, you will get 12 months access to Everyday Women's Network, and you watch it just like Netflix, your desktop, your laptop, your mobile, wherever you want to watch, and you can go through and have a look at the content that we have on there. And the content's being updated and uploaded daily at the moment. So we have channels that are called Podcast Across the World. We have a channel called The Crystals, the Health and Healing channel, rather. We have Women in Leadership. We have women in who talk about spirituality. We have women that talk about marketing and branding and everything else in between. We've only just launched and we are grabbing and growing content as fast as we humanly can. So that's EWNTV.online. Jump on, subscribe, use EWN VIP, all capitals, and you'll get 12 months access to Everyday Women's Network TV.
Well, thank you. That is incredible. And we have all those links for you, and I will make sure that code is there. So each one of you have that code and can use that so you can get access for the next year to EWN TV, which is Everyday Women's Network for women everywhere.
Yes. And the guys that support them, because there's great guys stuff on there. And then I've noticed too that there's we're getting inquiries from men who only work with women, and I think that's pretty exciting myself. And so their content's starting to flow onto the network as well. We've got some talks with. My vision, of course, is to support women who are documentary makers, women in news, women in films, women in short films, women in series, and have that content on the network so that you get a cross-section of just amazing content.
Yeah. These are just everyday women. These are women that are moms, grandmas, sisters, aunts. They've had their hearts broken. They've fallen in love. They have a dream. They've lived some of their dreams. They've lost some of their dreams. These are women that have been everywhere. And that's the beauty. It's the beauty of this is
definitely
connect with the one that you feel the most drawn to.
Yeah.
And work on that connection this year. Let's spend more time slowing down and really connecting with people this year.
What a great point, Colleen, because that's the message I've been getting. Slow down, slow down, slow down.
Connect. Yeah, same. And there were a lot of things I had on my plan to that. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? This year, I'm going to connect deeper with the people I know. I'm going to connect with new people I've not met yet. And that's really my guide for the year is just connection.
Absolutely.
And I hope you all come along with us on that journey here at Take the Leap, as well as in the Leap community. You can find that at ColleenBiggs.net. And of course, all the information that Toni shared today is below for you. If you want to see Toni, she got up at 5:00 this morning, I'm sure, because it's 6:00 her time now, to be able to record this because there's a huge time gap between us and Australia. And you can find her at Colleen Biggs. I'm the one in the blue, the blonde in the blue shirt, I should just say, on all my social media pages. If I'm not in pink, I'm in blue. Those are the two colors I wear. So one last question for you, Toni. What are you most excited about for the impacts you know that you're going to make this year?
The thing that I'm most excited about is talking to those everyday women that have a glimmer or a glimpse of something that they want to do, create, or be, and helping them do that. So the thing that lights me up most is championing other women. I'm invested in your success. Like, that's what drives me forward. It's got little to do with what I create, but it's what I create for others that excites me. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I love it. It just, I was like, wait a minute, is she talking about me? Did she just talk about me? Yeah, that's how I feel too. I've always felt that way for 22 years as a business coach. It was about taking that journey with them and celebrating all of their successes moving forward. It was just, it's always
because I see some of the women that I've worked with like early in the piece, and I see what they've created alongside or in parallel to me. And I just like that excites me. It makes my heart beat faster. I'm like, oh my God, look what they're doing now. How amazing is that?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, Toni, so much for being here today, for getting up early, for connecting with our audience, for delivering so many wonderful pieces of advice on how they can build their digital footprint. And for that gracious gift, go to EWNTV.online. And I believe it's EWN VIP.
It is.
And then you can go ahead and cruise around Everyday Women's Network.
And connect and let us know what you think. And we love feedback. So if you want to say, oh, I'd like to see more of X, Y, Z, or why haven't you got blah, 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 please tell us. We're happy to hear from you.
Yeah. If you're curious about butterflies and there's not anyone on there that has a show about butterflies,
Correct.
that's
Tell
right.
us.
Let us know. Toni, it was really wonderful having you
Colleen, what a
as a
privilege
guest
to
on my
talk
show.
to you. Thank you.
And I just want our listeners to remember out there, you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that will ever be. Shine bright. Be you in everything that you do. Do not be afraid. Get out there, lift your voice, speak up. It doesn't have to be some huge movement. It can simply be you going live in a Facebook group or sharing and engaging with someone in messaging. But speak up because you deserve to be heard. And that's why Toni and I have created platforms for women to be able to be seen, to be able to be heard, so that we can celebrate your successes. So thank you again, everyone, for being with us. And don't forget.
Thank you for listening, wonderful women of the world.
Yes. Don't forget, until next time, be you and be strong. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.